In this video, I'm going to go over easy back strengthening exercises for seniors and beginners. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. In this video, we're going to go over easy, straightforward back strengthening exercises that you can do in bed or standing. Each one of these exercises are going to focus on targeting a different muscle group commonly associated with back pain. To get the best result, go through them all. Use any movement that you feel is more challenging, addressing weakness or giving you more pain relief. As a bonus, all of these exercises are not going to require any special equipment. So with that being said, let's get started. So here's one of the most back-friendly strengthening exercises, the bridge. But I'm going to show you how to take it to the next level and throw in some variations to target a lot of muscle groups, including focusing on strengthening the full back. This one can be done in bed or on a floor, and it's going to target more of the posterior chain, that is your back side. So think legs, glutes, and lower back. Let's start lying flat on our back. My legs are going to be roughly hip width apart, knees bent, feet flat. Let's take our hands, put them on our hips. Let's tighten the core muscles and then squeeze our glutes. From there, I'm going to slowly raise my hips upward towards the ceiling until my body is in a nice straight line from my knees to my hips to my shoulders. If you're unable to get into this position, let's say you can only go up an inch or two, do the best you can. Over time, you should gain strength and flexibility to get into this position. You're going to feel a ton of muscles firing: core, lower back, the glutes, and the legs. Hold this one comfortably for 5 seconds. From there, you're just going to relax and then repeat this one up to 10 times. If you feel like you have a little bit more energy, you can throw in another set or two. To make this more challenging, balance on one leg while you do it. So just lift one leg up like this. But make sure to keep both hips balanced. If you feel like one is tilting down, really try to bring that one up. It's all about building strength and balance across the back and the hips. But whatever you do on one side, always do on the other side to keep them in balance. So let's go over a couple different variations that are going to target the back and the hips and the legs a little bit differently. I like to do what is called the clamshell bridge. So with this one, we're going to put our feet together and then we're going to take our knees outward as much as we can. Go out until you really feel a very good stretch forming on the inner part of the leg right here into the groin, and you should also start to feel the hips opening up. The movement from there is very similar. We're just going to lift our hips upward. You'll just notice that it hits the muscles a little bit differently. So give that one a try. If you feel like it's more challenging or you have a little bit more weakness, this is a position that I would really focus on a little bit more. You can also target the back of the legs with a hamstring bridge. So this one is very similar to the first movement, but we're going to point our toes upward towards the ceiling, take our heels, drive them down into the bed or the floor, and then just lift up. Really focus on feeling it into the glutes right here, but also into the back of the legs. This one actually feels really, really good. But again, with all of these movements, 5-second holds, try to do them for 10 repetitions. If you really want to make this one more challenging, you can do a walkout with it. So I'm in my hamstring bridge position, and now I'm going to slowly walk my heels out like this, and you'll really feel those hammies start to fire. So give that one a try. Again, if you feel like you have a lot of weakness, really focus on that just a little bit more. So we can take this one to even the next level by then putting in a motion that will target the full back. So I'm going to get back into my original bridge position. I'm going to take my arms, bend them at 90 degrees at the elbow, put them off to my side, and then drive my elbows into the bed or the floor. The goal is to press down with your arms and then lift your chest forward, upward towards the ceiling, while pinching your shoulder blades at the same time. You're going to feel a ton of muscles firing in the middle and upper back. I pretty much feel my whole body getting a workout right now. But challenge yourself right here to drive upward as much as you can. Hold this for 5 seconds. You're going to relax, and then you're just going to repeat this up to 10 times. Again, if you feel like you have a little bit more energy, you can throw in another set or two. So building off the full body bridge, here's a variation that you can do standing throughout the day. We just need to go next to a door or a wall. This is known as the shoulder blade liftoff. It's great for strengthening the upper back and also helping to improve posture. I'm going to angle my body by putting my feet in front of me, roughly about a foot, foot and a half. My legs are going to be put put together, knees are going to be straight. Let's press back into the door or the wall with our leg strength. You want your whole backside flush against it, from your bottom all the way to your upper back and head. From there, the movement is going to be very similar. I'm going to take my elbows, put them at 90 degrees, put them off to my side. Again, what we're trying to do is drive our arms into the door and then lift our chest forward while pinching our shoulder blades at the same time. You'll feel a ton of muscles firing into the chest and also into the upper back. I try to hold this one for 5 seconds. I'm going to relax, and then I'm going to repeat this one 10 to 15 times. If you feel like you have a little bit more energy, throw in another set or two. And if you want to make this one more challenging, just space your feet further away from that door. So a leading cause of back injury actually comes from the front, a weak core. So I want to go over 2 different exercises that will help strengthen it and build more spinal stability. This first one is known as a dead bug. It's the easier of the 2. I would start with this one and then move on to the second one when you feel ready. So let's start by lying flat on our back in bed or on a floor. I'm going to take my legs up like this, knees bent roughly at 90 degrees. Legs are also roughly hip width apart. I'm going to straighten my arms, point my fingers up towards the ceiling. Let's start with the easier movements of the dead bug and then progress into the more challenging ones as you feel ready. So the first movement, I'm just going to lower one arm downward like this, but I'm not going to let the back side of my arm touch the floor or the bed. When I do this exercise too, I like to brace or tighten my core for a little bit more support, because that's what we really want to focus on. But you want to hold this one comfortably for about 5 seconds. And with all of these movements, I'm going to hold them for 5 seconds. And then I'm just going to come back up like this, and then I'm going to repeat it on the other side. You want to try to do this one nice and slowly for about 10 to 15 repetitions on both sides. And you can always throw in another set or 2 if you would like. If you find that this is a little bit too easy, you can then progress into using the legs instead. So I'm just going to straighten one leg down like this. The key is try to straighten your leg at the knee as much as you can, but don't let the calf or the heel touch the floor or the bed. Just let it hover. You're going to feel those core muscles really start to activate. So again, 5-second hold. I'm just going to come back up like this and then repeat on the other side. From there, if you would like to progress into the full dead bug, it's combining those 2 movements. But what I'm going to do is lower one leg down and then the opposite side's arm, and you'll feel a ton of muscles start to fire again. And then you're just going to do that on both sides. To take this one to even the next level, we can focus a little bit more on the glutes and the hips to build more strength and support for the back. So when I lower one leg down, what I'm going to do is turn my foot inward like this and then move my leg inwards. We call this one the 3D dead bug. You're going to feel a ton of muscles fire across the pelvis, the hip, and the lower back. So give that one a try. Again, a 5-second hold. You're just going to relax. And then on the next repetition, what you're going to do is turn the foot outward as much as you can and then bring the leg out. Again, you'll just notice that the muscles get hit a little bit differently. But try to do that on both sides for about 10 to 15 repetitions if you are able to. So if that becomes too easy, let's build into what is known as the bird dog. It's very similar, but this time around, we're going to be on all fours, and this one will be a little bit more challenging because we really have to focus on maintaining balance while doing it. So with this one, what I'm going to start off doing is just raising one arm out like this and holding it for 5 seconds and then doing it on the other side. You'll probably notice it's pretty easy. So what you can do instead is then use your legs. So the key with this is I try to keep the top part of my foot flat on the bed or the floor and then reach out with my toes as much as I can until I feel a really good activation of the muscles in the calves, working upward towards the back of the leg into the hamstring and the glute. Once I feel that, I'm going to then raise my leg up very, very slowly until it's pointing straight away from me. You're going to want to, again, brace the core muscles for a little bit more support, but you're going to feel a lot of muscles firing. And with this one too, you may notice that your body starts to sway or one hip starts to go down. Really try to focus on keeping this stable and your hips level. 5-second hold, we're going to relax, and then we're just going to do it on the other side. I try to do this one again, 10 to 15 repetitions on both sides. and you can throw in another set or two. To go into the full bird dog, what I'm going to do is lift one leg up and then the opposite side's arm. And this one can become very challenging if you have a lot of muscle weakness. So give that one a try and try to progress into it as much as you can. Always focus on challenging those muscles to build more strength. So with this exercise, I want to focus on strengthening two muscles that are commonly overlooked when it comes to back pain. That is the psoas muscle, right here in the front part of the leg, a hip flexor, and also the quadratus lumborum, or the QL muscle. For this one, we can do next to a staircase, or you can use a sturdy chair, one without wheels. This first movement is called the hip hiker. It's going to target the QL, the quadratus lumborum. To do, I'm going to stand with very good upright posture. So grab right here at the top of a chair, or you can grab right off to the side of a wall. I'm going to pretty much keep my legs straight and then lift one hip upward, up towards the ceiling as much as we can. We don't want to round the back with this one. We want to keep everything straight, really focus on lifting this whole side upward as much as you can. When you do this, you're going to feel a ton start to fire off to the side right here into the lower back. It usually feels pretty good also. I tried to hold this one for about 5 seconds. I'm just going to relax and then repeat this one 10 to 15 times. If you feel like you have a little bit more energy, definitely throw in another set or two. If you want to take this one to the next level, go next to a staircase and then step up on it just like this and let that leg hover off to the side. The movement is very similar. We're going to lift up with one side as much as we can, hold that for 5 seconds, but this time around what we're going to do is slowly lower that heel downward towards the floor, not letting it touch. You'll notice that the muscles on the other side get hit just a little bit differently. So give that one a try. This is something that you can pretty much do daily every time that you go up and down the stairs. But whatever you do on one side, always make sure to do on the other side. So moving on to the second part of this exercise, we're going to focus more on the psoas and the hip flexors. Again, you can use your chair or a staircase. I do recommend doing this one next to a wall. That way you can use it for support if you do have balance issues. Let's get into position. I'm going to bring one leg up and put my foot on that chair or that staircase. The other leg is just going to go straight behind me at the knee. Let's tighten the core, have very good upright posture. We want to make sure to keep the back straight as possible during this exercise. So the movement, pretty simple. What we want to do is drive this knee above our hip to engage those hip flexors. So take this knee, drive it upward towards the ceiling as much as you can until you really start to feel those muscles in the front part of the leg start to fire. Hold this one comfortably for about 5 seconds, just relax, and then repeat this one 10 to 15 times. With each repetition, challenge yourself, drive that knee up even further. I like to do this one on both sides for 10 to 15 repetitions to keep them in balance. If the exercises helped, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.